Respected Chairperson, my co-panelists on the dais, and dear friends. So, I am one of the real-time practitioners of IT, and I've been handling around 14, 15 police IT projects in Karnataka, and I'm also the nodal officer for CCTNS. As we move forward, we'll tell you what we have been doing in Karnataka. This is a presentation on ICT in policing and generally covers the main areas of CCTNS, public safety, the police IT, which is an ERP solution in Karnataka. And my main contention is that to put ICT in policing, first it has to get into the general administration, the general day-to-day functioning of what we do, which creates a database which is naturally populated and all that. You go in for different other activities. So 9/11, it literally shattered our faith in the ability of the governments to provide the mankind with the luxury of a safe and secure life. And that is from the place where the overdose of ICT started. And it started hitting the law enforcement agencies from all the sides without having a very clear-cut, concerted policy as to what would be the roadmap ahead. Terrorists have been the perfectionists of use of ICT for narcotics trade, money laundering, gun running, or open acts of terror, which we have been seeing at least since 9/11 all across the globe. So the gap between the appropriate technology by the security forces and the mandatory enabling factors. So that is gap that is what produces or that gives them the encouragement to get into criminal/terrorist acts of this nature. In the presentation, so we will look into why this ICT overdose without having a clear-cut roadmap, without having standards, without having any uniform system advancement in the line or to the goal which we plan to attain, an ERP solution which we generally don't have across the country, CCTNS, public safety, homeland security, and safe city, which is being flouted all around the place in many different manners without getting into even the basics of it. The technological framework, the basic technological framework which is required to put the city and the state and the country on a safe platform. Prison software, because one of the topics of ICT in policing, roadmap and conclusion. ICT in policing, from my point of view and the way we have been practicing in Karnataka, would start from an ERP solution, that is the Enterprise Resource Planning Solution. It will have a state or national crime and criminal database. It will, in the major cities for which mega city policing project is going on, it will go to the tier 2 cities, that's the smart and the safe city, and finally integration of databases across sectors, which is one of the main objectives of NATGRADE, which intends to integrate databases in 21 sectors related to different fields of aviation, travel, credit card, and things of that nature. And finally, providing your database which can crisscross sectors, it can crisscross activities, and at the end of the day is able to provide you the names of persons and the activities for which this whole database is being created. So starting with the ERP, we have Police IT in Karnataka, which has 12 modules, 64 roles, 522 screens, and 417 reports. It's one of the only ERPs which is created in the governmental sector. We have 3 core functions. There is the crime, law and order, and traffic. And administration side, we have administration, finance, and stores. Half of the stores runs on e-procurement portal of Government of Karnataka. On the ancillary support, we have the armed reserve, which is your battalions, motor transport, and training. Technical side, we have the wireless and the forensic science laboratories. The management information system is laid on these 11 modules. This is the present status of Police IT software in Karnataka, where nearly all the modules have either gone live or they are in the pilot stage. We have 392 police stations in 11 districts, 3 commissionerates, and 4 divisions of Bangalore City Police, which are running live on crime, law and order, and traffic. And this covers from the FIR till the prosecution. Same way the law and order and the traffic modules also cover nearly every requirement of the police. Post creation of an ERP, what you really require is integration. So we intend to integrate 7 different software systems onto the police IT software. This integration has been approved by the Empowered Committee of Government of Karnataka, and they have decided to they have cleared this project. This project would be executed at a cost of 45 lakhs, and for our concept paper and our pilot study. So, Government of Karnataka would be awarding us with the effort. So, merger of these systems, these are the 7 systems which we intend to merge, 7 legacy systems which will be merged with the police IT. So, that is the electronic beat, GIS based crime analysis and reporting engine, e-Khajane is the treasury software, e-procurement, GPS based automatic vehicle location system, traffic management center, and BlackBerry. The integration apart, we come to the CCTNS. Much has been talked about CCTNS, and it would be talked, I think, all throughout the day. So I'll not get into the details of CCTNS, the costing, spread, and depth, which is 14,000 police stations, 6,000 higher police officers, large number of governance structure. It will finally, the final product would be a core application software, which would be primarily dealing with crime, traffic, and prosecution. It will have a state component, and further customization would be allowed for the state. So that will be the national software which would run on this, finally creating a national database. We come to public safety, which is one of the main concerns, speaker after speaker, and real concern for the country. So broadly, this is what we understand by public safety, that is prevention of and protection from events that could endanger safety of general public. And in ICT parlance, what we talk about is C41 and safe city, smart city, emanating from Homeland Security or on its own in whichever manner, and we generally forget the rural India and non-metro part of this country. So Homeland Security is an umbrella term for the purposes for which all of us know. And it generally covers all these organizations. The FBI and CA is not a part of it. So it's a concerted national effort to prevent terrorist attacks within the United States, reduce America's vulnerability to terrorism, and minimize the damage and recover from attacks that do occur. And as it is a public knowledge that since 9/11, America has not faced any terrorist act, and whenever they have reached somewhere close to that, they have been able to avert it because of the systems which they have put in place. We presume that there is a seamless integration of these systems. The 29 agencies which intra was not in a position to work seamlessly pre 9/11 is been working seamlessly post 9/11. I think the Patriot Act has a big role to play. So the enabling legal environment, I think, plays a very, very crucial role. So this is broadly Homeland Security. What I want to impress upon the audience is that there has to be a technological framework which has to be decided by policymakers, and which might come out from the experience and expertise of the IT industry. So to best of my thinking, my understanding is that there has to be a ERP solution for data creation and information processing. Then GIS-based crime analysis and search engine, e-beats, city-based video surveillance, automatic vehicle location system, and Tetra radio network, internet interception mechanism, integration of all important databases, command and control centers. So this is broadly the framework which has to be the standard framework for policing and the ICT enabled environment for the law enforcement agencies. ICT in prison administration I've just added because it's one of the topics, and in Karnataka we have gone in for prison software that is by name Prism. It is made by Goa Electronics and has around 20 modules, and it is basically on, it depends on whatever modules you require. So the work is on, we are in the pilot phase. The major issues which we have been experiencing in most of our projects, that is regarding ownership, then the quality and the timelines. Most of the projects have been running indefinitely and infinitely, and the quality has been a very big question mark. How it would be sorted out, I think all of us know very well in the government, and we also, and people in the industry also know, it's just that They have to come to a common line of thinking. And that would primarily emanate of the fact if they decide to deliver. But if you run into the vicious cycle of RFPs and SLAs and completion certificates, I don't think you'll be able to deliver the true quality of work. Then standard technologies, validation, and then use across states and organizations. You have to decide upon standard technologies. This country is still not using Tetra. Tetra is a technology which has been appreciated, has been of use, been created for the purposes of public safety, but we still don't use Tetra. Then capacity building, which is a real key. People have been talking about technology not assimilating the end user, or there is no need of knowledge of technology to a considerable extent. In the same manner as ignorance of law is not an explanation, or it means equal amount of culpability. In the same manner, your lack of knowledge of technology cannot explain either non-performance or subhuman performance. So assimilation of technology to the end user, technology core to core. It is today technology has become a domain knowledge. So whatever is the required or appropriate technology which you need for your particular domain. So you are supposed to know, you are mandated to know, it is your responsibility that you know. But for that, you will not be able to deliver. It has been made crystal clear that people who are conversant with technology of the domain they handle are the people who are more successful and who are able to make a greater impact. Long-term relationship with companies. You see large companies, they have a long-term relationship with other companies who provide them all the services and the support. We have been going on into this AMC business and changing the support systems every now and then. So our people, our process, our technology, nothing is exactly in place. And so these complications keep repeating again and again. And we keep reinventing the wheel from one state to other, one ministry to other, one project to other, and one resource to another. And phasing out completely archaic systems. So even the email today, which has been in vogue for more than 10, 12 years, is still not the standard system of communication in governance. So ICT in policing, looking ahead, it should have standards. That standards would lead to standardization of usage, whether it is the service, whether it is the technology, whether it is the nature of capacity building, as the case may be, and it has to be uniformly spread across the country where you don't have issues of either interoperability or integration and things of that nature. Project management is something which is still not vogue in the government to the level, to the understanding and to the expertise which is there in the private sector. That is one area of expertise which we should pick up from the private sector, and there can be a standard system in which project management is taught to the managers in the government. Zero tolerance on quality and timelines. There is a marked difference between the IT industry's response to dealing with clients outside government and dealing with clients inside government. We are still not very sure whether the e-governance attracts the best talent of the IT industry. If it does not, for what reason? That is a big question mark. So human resource deployed for e-governance projects, we have seen there are youngsters who just come out of their colleges, they come to e-governance projects, they don't understand governance, they don't understand the systems. It has a totally different culture compared to IT industry or Amity University or things of that nature. So they need a certified training before they move on to the government for any governance project. These are huge projects, 2,000 crores, 5,000 crores, and public money cannot be wasted because of lack of expertise either on your side or on our side. Technology-based certification for gibberish job assignment inside the government, and strategic planning, which is also dynamic and has the ability of mid-course corrections. Officers handling such projects should have demonstrated capability to do so. So this is broadly on my experience of handling IT projects in Karnataka for last nearly two years. So, if there are any questions, I would love to answer as a part of the panel. Thank you.